Hey guys, it is the 22nd of January today, and I am attempting to not do another grocery shopping trip until February starts so that I can stay on my grocery budget. So for the next 9 days, there's 31 days in January, right? For the next 9 days, I want to just eat out of our pantry. We'll call it a mini pantry challenge. So I am just going through my pantry, my freezer, and of course in my fridge as well, and just seeing everything that I have and basically just making a list of meal ideas that I can make with what I already have. So I already looked through my refrigerator, and the main things in there to use up are vegetables. I have a big cabbage from our imperfect produce box this week. I have a bunch of carrots from a Costco bag I bought a while back. Have a couple of parsnips that I just need to throw into something. I thought Levi would really like those if I roasted them or something. And then I have a half of a purple cabbage, and it seems like I had some celery. Renee really likes just eating celery with peanut butter and stuff, so I may not use that for anything. I may just save that for her, but I would like to use up those other vegetables. If I do use up those other vegetables and I need some more vegetables, I have frozen green beans and frozen broccoli that I can use in that case. So I'm just back in the notes section of my planner, and I'm just gonna write down not necessarily everything I have in my freezer and pantry and fridge, but just ideas of things that I want to use up. So I went through the fridge and the freezer inside in the kitchen, and these are the veggies that I need to use up. And I'm gonna go through the freezer and just write down different meats that I have in there that need to be used up or are available to use. And then I will look through my pantry area here and find more things we can use up. Here's my giant freezer. I've been so spoiled with this huge freezer. I used to have a much smaller one, and it died probably over the summer maybe. And we got this new one. We were able to get it. It's very old. It's not like it's a fancy new freezer, but it's huge, and I absolutely love it. I feel like I really need to fill it up more. Like we should just, go get half a cow or something and fill it up. But it's been so nice to be able to just have space to put anything in here, not have to rearrange stuff all the time in order to make stuff fit. You can see up here, I only have 2 bags of the freezer breakfast sandwiches left. I forget when I did my humongous batch of breakfast sandwiches that I thought would last for like 3 months. I don't think it's been 3 months, maybe 2 months. That's my guess. I'm due for doing another huge batch of freezer breakfast sandwiches, so look for that towards the beginning of February. Hopefully these 2 bags will last us till the beginning of February. My husband eats them so much. He eats 2 every morning, and then he'll just grab them for snacks and stuff during the day or late at night if he's up working late. So he goes through those a lot. We still have a few truffles in here left from Christmas. We're just saving those for a rainy day. I have some wild rice soup in here from my last week meal plan, just extra because I made a double batch. This is a pan of the chili mac because I made a double batch of that as well, and we weren't going to get through it all, so I went ahead and froze it, and I froze it with parchment paper underneath so that after it's completely frozen I can pull it out, put it into a freezer Ziploc bag, and I can use my pan again. I don't have to leave my pan in here until we actually eat the chili mac. This is chopped up ham from the big ham I had a couple weeks ago. That's ready to throw into soups. This is some more just random things that I have available to throw into soups and stuff. Brown rice, white rice. This is kielbasa sausages, and I should actually put that on my list because it would be good to use those up. They've been sitting there for a while. Those are some roasted potatoes, or ready to be roasted potatoes, I should say. They're cooked and tossed with oil and spices. So I should just pull those out and use those at some point. Let me put those 2 things on my list. So I got my white rice, brown rice, and potatoes, and then the kielbasa sausages. Now down here I have a bunch of meat, and we have 1 pack of these left, and actually I need to put those in the fridge to use up. I still have a bunch of the boneless pork loins, the whole giant ones from Costco that I got a while back when they were on really, really good sale. These containers here are some sirloin steak, some more sirloin, a couple here, and then this one down here was New York steak. This is all packs of ground beef. I have 1 pack bag here of beef stew meat, and then these are pork belly. I got a big pork belly at Costco a while back and chopped it up, and I just need to get those used. I think I have 4 of these bags left. They look like that. That's just some beef suet I had back there to render down into tallow for cooking. Now down here I have all my chicken and fish, a couple whole chickens, which I'm probably going to pull those out pretty soon, get them defrosted because I'd like to cook some more of those in my Duo Crisp or with my air fryer lids. I found a really good timing, cook timing for chickens using the pressure cooker and then with the air fryer lid on top. So I want to do that again, just make sure I have that recipe completely foolproof. That's all chicken breast back there. I got a big box of it at Savory Butcher a while back, and so I still have lots of it, and we don't eat a ton of just chicken breast, so I really need to figure out recipes to work through that. Over here we have a bunch of fish actually, and we don't eat a lot of fish, and that's probably why it's piled up here, but we were given a bunch of fish. I have a bag of rainbow trout from when we went fishing a while back. I have some of these Costco packs. This is mahi and some salmon. These are some shrimps from Trader Joe's, and what I really want to do is defrost all of the fish fillets, get them chopped up and get them breaded, because that's the way that my family likes them the most, likes fish the most. And so just to get it eaten, I'd like to get it all breaded. But I don't think I'm going to do that now because I don't have sweet potato flour, which is my favorite thing to use for breading meats and fish. So I'm going to push that back, but maybe in February I'll be able to get to that. Last thing down here is I just have some berries, frozen berries. So I got all of my different meats written down here so I don't forget anything. And now let's move over to the pantry. So my pantry has been more organized than this, and my pantry has been more disorganized than this. This is about average, and it's not too bad. I'm not going to go over every single thing in here, but I have my canned stuff. I have apple butter and peach preserves that I did over the summer, which I have a video on the peach preserves, I believe. I've got canned stuff up here. I don't have a ton. I need to use up these clams, but I don't know when I'm going to use those because nobody else in the family likes that except me, but maybe I should make some kind of a clam chowder for me, and I would enjoy that. A couple cans of green chilies, couple things of pumpkin that could be used up, lots of olives. Talia loves to snack on those. Tomato sauce, which I don't need to use up, that's just good to have in the pantry for whenever. Up here I have a bunch of flours and different things, cassava flour and sugar, palm shortening, some gluten-free flour. Don't really need to worry about using those things up. Oh, I do have some quinoa back here. But the family really doesn't love quinoa, so I just don't make it very often. I need to find something that they like. There is a soup that I make with it. Maybe I'll make that at some point. Over here is just teas and leftover white chocolate chips and things from truffle making this year. We're not going to worry about using all that up. So all of these bags here are Arrowroot Flour. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I used to make German pancakes and waffles with arrowroot flour quite often. We'd make either one of those every single week just about. But since Levi, it was clear that Levi was having issues with eggs, since both of those recipes have a ton of eggs, I have not been making them as much. Levi starts vomiting like within an hour or two of any small exposure to eggs, even in baked products. And so it's just very difficult to keep him from eating things. Like if the girls have a waffle and they leave a piece out, he will come over and eat it because he's eating constantly, and it's just a lot of work to keep that under control. So I have not been making waffles or German pancakes very often. I still will every once in a while, but it's more of a special occasion type thing. But I have a ton of arrowroot flour. This is all arrowroot, and then this is a partial bag of arrowroot because I used to buy it in the 20 or 25 pound bags from Bob's Red Mill. So I think I'll probably put on the meal plan to make either pancakes or German pancakes or the waffles this week, and it's like every once in a while I'm willing to do it and let the kids enjoy having them, and then I just have to, be on guard with Levi, make sure he doesn't eat them. But it would be nice to clear out some of this arrowroot flour. Okay, this is something I'd like to use up. I got this stuffing mix at Thanksgiving time, and I ended up just using one when I bought two, and so I could use this for making some kind of a stuffing dish. I usually make a cranberry sausage apple stuffing at Christmas, which is really good. but I might try doing something different. I'll have to look up some recipes, but I'm definitely going to put this on my list of things that I want to try to use up. Some rice papers waiting for a rainy day, 1 thing of coconut milk. Down here I have all my pastas. These are just regular pasta from Costco. These are all like alternative pastas that I've been wanting to experiment with. This one was quinoa and corn, I think. And then these ones are chickpea pasta. And then this I definitely need to use up because it is the ramen noodles that I've been talking about for the last 2 weeks. I already have some chicken defrosted in the fridge for the chicken ramen. I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and go put it on my counter so I don't forget. And I have it ready to go for my chicken ramen. Over here I have a bunch of rice. This is just some short grain white rice. This is glutinous rice, which is sticky rice. And then this is just a bunch of brown rice. Now these 3 bins here are all like bulk grains and beans and things like that. So I'm going to pull these out and to get a better look at them and see what I can use. All right, I've already thrown away several things from here that just were odds and ends that I'm not going to use. So I have wild rice, but we just did wild rice soup the other week and we're going to save that for another time. You guys know I've been working on a cookbook, and so I've had lots of, recipe testing and things where I just needed a little bit of something. And so I have all these little odds and ends of nuts. This is some tricolor quinoa that I didn't end up using. I wonder if the kids would be more excited about that. I might have to try that in something. This is some red rice, and actually the red rice is really good. I like making it after I make a whole chicken in the Instant Pot, like in the juices of the chicken. It's really tasty. It takes longer to cook than regular white rice, more like brown rice. But I should totally use that because I know the kids like that. Just a little bit of coconut, some more nuts down here, sliced almonds, walnuts. I think these are more almonds. And then I have a bunch of cornmeal, different grinds, medium grind, and this is a little bit more coarse, and this is like corn grits or polenta. Let's see, this is some buckwheat groats, and this is buckwheat cereal, which is just like crushed up buckwheat groats. I really like the creamy buckwheat cereal from Bob's Red Mill, and you can grind up just whole toasted, let's see, are these toasted? I forget. Maybe not toasted, raw groats. You can just grind them up like in a blender and make them just like the creamy buckwheat hot cereal, and it's really good, like oatmeal alternative, and Autumn really likes that as well. Then over here, let's see, this is sunflower seeds, and I'm going to try to use these when I make waffles this week, because I usually make them with the arrowroot flour plus either almond flour or ground up sunflower seeds, and sunflower seeds are way cheaper than almond flour, so I try to use those whenever possible, just because it's more frugal. Then I have lots of beans in here. I just made that black bean soup the other week, and I thought I'd used up all my black beans. I was so excited to use up a whole bag, and then when I was sorting through stuff, I found I had another whole bag of black beans, so I have those to use. I have some red lentils, and actually the red lentils are in the soup that I was mentioning that I make with quinoa. It's like a quinoa red lentil stew with chicken, and it's really good, so that would be a good thing to put on the meal plan. I have lots of garbanzo beans. I don't know why I have so many, but I need to make some hummus for Renee. She would really like that. These are little French baby lentils. Need to figure out something to do with that. Maybe I could combine them with the red lentils in the stew just to use them up. We got some kidney beans. All the kids really love kidney beans, so I should really make these more often. I think they would like it like with a rice and beans and ground beef or something like that. They would think that was good. And some, I think these are Great Northern. I forget. I didn't write it on there. I think they're Great Northern or something like that. And then I forget what these ones are, but I really should use them up. I've got a good list to work with now, so I think I'm just going to sit down for a bit and think through recipes and look up recipes. I like to just browse recipes on Pinterest and get ideas that way, and I should be able to come up with a pretty good meal list from what I've got here. I got more dinners than I expected. I was able to come up with a lot of different ideas. I'll go over them real fast. Pumpkin pork curry with the pork loin in the freezer. That'll use up some canned pumpkin. And I put on here sticky rice and cabbage. I have several meals that have cabbage or could have cabbage, so it'll kind of depend on how fast I use that up. Next meal is white chicken chili with cornbread. That'll use up some chicken breasts and Great Northern beans and cornmeal. Then I have the whole chickens that I'll cook in my Duo Crisp or with one of my crisp lids, air fryer lids. I'm going to do red rice in the drippings after that, and then I put on carrots, probably either roasted or air fried or just raw carrot sticks. And that'll use up all those things. Then I figured after I have, if I cook 2 whole chickens, then I will have leftovers and I can take all the meat off the bones and use it for a chicken stuffing casserole. I was trying to find a good recipe on Pinterest, but all the recipes had like stovetop stuffing mix and cream of chicken, like Campbell's soup, and I typically don't buy that kind of thing and don't have those kind of processed foods to cook with, so I'm gonna have to wing it on that one and come up with something delicious. I figured I'd put some green beans in there, some of my frozen green beans, and I can use up the celery for that or whatever Renee doesn't eat with peanut butter. Then, of course, I have on here chicken ramen, and I've been wanting to make chicken ramen for the last couple of weeks. I have the chicken breast already defrosted, so that'll probably be the first meal I make from this list. That'll use up chicken breast and ramen noodles. And I threw cabbage on here because I might just chop up some raw cabbage, like really finely shredded, and then that'll be a nice topping for the ramen. Because usually we like bean sprouts on our ramen, but I don't want to go to the store and buy those. And so I thought the crunchy cabbage might be a good substitution. Now down here I have lentil stew with chicken and quinoa, and I've done a red lentil chicken quinoa stew with red peppers. I don't have red peppers right now, so I'll have to think of something else to make it yummy, but usually I put in like thyme, and it's just a really flavorful stew, and the red lentils kind of disintegrate into the stew and thicken it up and make it really good. And even though my family's not a huge fan of quinoa, they really like that. So that'll use up some chicken breasts and some lentils. I might throw in the other lentils as well just to get them used up. And then I might try the tricolor quinoa because that might be fun for everybody. So on this meal, I have the pumpkin pork curry. So I'm going to defrost one of the huge pork loins and use some of it for that. And then I figured I would do pork chops, and then just cook some brown rice and maybe some cabbage if I still have some. If I don't have cabbage left at this point, I could do some of the frozen broccoli. I could air fry that. That turned out really well when I did that last week. So that's going to use up pork loin, brown rice, and cabbage or broccoli. Then I have this meal, kielbasa sausage. That's the frozen sausage I had out in the freezer, and then I put that with cabbage as well. I do have a giant green cabbage and then also a half of a red cabbage, so I do have a lot of cabbage. I'll probably be able to make several meals from that. And then I put on here the roasted potatoes, that bag of roasted potatoes from the freezer. I figure I'll just throw those into the air fryer because they already have spices and oil on them. They're all ready to go, and that'll use up all that. Last meal I just threw on here to use up those kidney beans is rice beans and ground beef. I've done a video on this quite a long time ago. It's just a really frugal meal that everyone always really likes. And I really like making it with leftovers, like if I have leftover rice in the fridge or leftover beans, any kind of beans, black beans or pinto beans, anything, or leftover taco meat or anything like that, I can just throw it all together, stir fry it up. The kids really like it. You could sprinkle cheese on top or sour cream, and it's really good, really frugal, and that'll use up some of the ground beef I have in the freezer, some of the brown rice, and then the kidney beans. And then I also threw down here some snack and dessert ideas. I have all of those white chocolate chips left from Christmas time. I didn't make as many white or the lemon truffles with the white chocolate as I thought I would. So I have a lot of that left. So I thought maybe to use up all of those nuts in my bulk bin. And I have like raisins, and I think I had a little bag of currants maybe. I also have some crystallized ginger, and so I might throw all that together with some melted white chocolate chips and make like a white chocolate fruit and nut bark. We also have a lot of those little silicone molds. I have all kinds of different shapes and stuff, and the kids always love those, and they just make things so fun. So I might do that in the little molds and make some little candies so the kids can enjoy that. And then I have a ton of frozen berries. I was given a couple big Costco bags of frozen berries, and then I have frozen bananas, and I still have some partial bags of like frozen blueberries and frozen strawberries, and I have coconut milk in the fridge that needs to get used up. So I just threw on here berry smoothies with coconut milk just to remind me to do that. I don't think to do that this time of year, but the kids still love it even though it's cold outside, and so definitely going to try to do that. And then down here I have my food prep list. The very first thing I'm going to try to do is make bone broth in my kitchen freezer. I have a couple of bags, Ziploc bags of bones that are all ready to go. So very first thing, I'm going to make a big batch of that. I have on here to make waffles. That's not going to be a dinner necessarily. I'll probably make them maybe tomorrow morning. And I always make a giant batch and then save the rest leftovers in the fridge, and the kids can eat those for snacks and for lunches and for breakfast whenever they need to. And the things I'm going to use up for the waffles are the sunflower seeds and the arrowroot starch. And I do have a lot of eggs in the fridge still, so there'll be plenty of eggs for that. And then I just threw on here defrost the pork loin and defrost the whole chicken. Those are both large items, so that is going to take some time to defrost, so I need to think about that in advance. So since I only cook about 3 to 4 new meals per week, and then we do leftovers for the rest of the days or fend for yourself type meals, this list of dinners is going to take me quite some time to get through, at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. So I'll start with the chicken ramen. I'm saying that right now. I'm going to start with that chicken ramen. It's been waiting for too long for me to get it made. And then after that, I will probably do the whole chickens, and with the leftovers, do the green beans. And then at that point, I think I will defrost the pork loin, and so I can do the 2 different pork meals. And like the white chicken chili, that can wait. There's nothing that needs to be used up quickly for that. The lentil stew, that one can wait. There's nothing that's really urgent about those. They can go on to a different, and we did a lot of soups the last couple of weeks, and so the kids are kind of over soups. So if I wait on those 2 for another week or 2, that would probably be a good idea. This one, besides the cabbage, I can just pull out of the freezer whenever I feel like it. Same with this one. I can save the dry beans and the brown rice for whenever. So that is what menu planning from my pantry is like. I feel like I should do this more often. I don't do it often enough, but after seeing how many meals I was able to come up with the stuff that's in my pantry, I definitely should take advantage of that and do this more often. I'm planning on filming these meals and continuing with my series that I've been doing of a week's worth of meals. I've done 3 videos so far, just every week making a video of all of our different dinners for the week, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it seems like a lot of you have been enjoying it, so I'm going to continue with that, and so you will definitely see all of these meals coming up on that type of video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and planning with me, and I will see you again real soon.